4-star running back at Auburn commit, Alvin Henderson, is here on the 5-star flex. He's going to talk about the moment he knew that he wanted to flip from Penn State to Auburn and all the crazy recruiting going on right now on the Plains and how Big Cat Weekend turned into Big Cat Week. All that and more on the 5-star flex. What's going on, big dog?
Now, how you doing this day?
Hey, man, is it cold in Alabama right now?
Right now it is.
Yeah, it's been freezing, I heard.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you know a lot of that frostbite started with you.
Yes,
Talk to me
sir.
about the process when you flipped from Penn State to Auburn.
So after I committed to Penn State, Coach Freeze, like he called. I think he called me that same day. He called me that Thursday I committed. Then he called me that Friday, and I mean, I don't think it was a week that went by that he wasn't in contact with me, like let me know what Auburn could do for me, and not just him, but not just me, but my mom and the rest of my family as well. And as I start considering, like, because I know I wanted to have everything shut down before my junior year started. As I started considering, because I always loved Auburn, way before I committed to Penn State. Obviously, Penn State had just shown me some different things, but as not just me, but my mom as well, my uncles, as we talk Coach Freeze every day, and the rest of the staff at Auburn, we were just thinking, why go somewhere else? Would you could stay home like an hour and 30 minutes away from your house, and go to Auburn and be special too. And when I started thinking about that, thinking about, okay, this and that, I was like, you know what, why not Auburn? And then, the things that Coach Freeze, one thing Coach Freeze told me, even from the beginning of him recruiting me, he felt like if I jumped in the boat, then, what's going on now would happen. And I feel like after I flipped, a lot of the dudes that he wanted that didn't commit before I did, they hopped in the boat.
When you recruit other players in Alabama,
Mhm.
what do you tell them about going to Auburn?
So really and truly, Auburn sells itself. But with me, all I can do is just tell them, what Coach Freeze, what Coach Cadillac was my position coach, my position coach Ronnie Brown, and a lot of the alumni that has played at Auburn and what they told me, the benefits going there, especially from being in state. Now, of course, Coach Cadillac, he was from Alabama. And then you take people like Cam Newton and Ronnie Brown that was from, Georgia, and the benefits they still had was out of the roof. And the main thing that we try to explain to some of the dudes that just committed or that's not committed now is standing state. You could go to Bama, you could play Auburn. There's a lot of schools in the state of Alabama, but something about Auburn is just different. And for me, and as well as the dudes that just have committed too, it's just the family feel. Like when you go to Auburn, you just feel at home. And whether you're around the coaching staff, whether you're around the players, you just feel like you're wanted there. Not saying that when I used to go to Bama, I didn't feel the same way, but Auburn is just different.
When who was the first person you called on Auburn staff when you decided to flip?
So honestly, when I decided that I was going to flip, I was still committed to Penn State, and I'm not even gonna lie, like I took my Penn State OV knowing that when I got back to Alabama, I was gonna flip. Not only
Mm,
be like it wasn't a thing where I just took the OV for fun, but my mom had already talked with the coaching staff at Penn State and was like, some of the stuff wasn't adding up. So if they
right.
wanted me to stay committed, then something was gonna have to change. And I felt when I took my OV, because I'm still cool with a lot of the dudes that's committed to Penn State. But first, one thing I told them while I was on my OV, I was like, because I told them I was like, I ain't even gonna lie, like if something don't change on this official visit, then I'm going to Auburn. And they was like, nah, you're not going. I was like, I'm just letting y'all know what's real. Like if something don't change, I'm going to Auburn. When I got back from my official visit on that Sunday, I got back home Sunday afternoon. Instantly, because Coach Freeze, he wanted me to take the official visit. Coach Freeze, Coach Nick's, like they wanted me to take the official visit, just to see how I would feel when I got back. And when I got back from my OV, I was still feeling like Auburn was my home. And
Mm.
I sat down a few days with my mama and I talked about it and I talked with my uncles and main thing, like everybody, everybody gonna tell you like no, that wasn't the right move. But Coach Freeze told me like from day one, nobody opinion matters but yours because you're gonna be one here doing the work. Like it don't matter who it is
Mm.
or nobody opinion matters but yours. And after I sat down and had a conversation with him, I'm not gonna say the school, but another school wanted me to take an official visit that last weekend in June. And I called him and I was like, they want me to take an official visit. I'm probably gonna take this official visit, just to see where things stacking up. And he was like, he talked to me, and then he called me back and was like, man, he started talking with me. Then he called my mom and talked, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna flip when I go to Rivals, which was that thing. I think we had that thing like a Tuesday through Thursday. I was like, when I go to Rivals, I'm gonna flip. And
Mm,
it was no pressure. Like it was no pressure. He was, they was content with that. But I knew that Friday that I did flip, it was going into the dead period.
right.
And when I wanted to flip, I wanted to be able to go on campus. So I was just sitting up and I was thinking, well, mom, and she was like, it really don't matter to me, it's on your time. And I was gonna do it that Thursday, but I felt like it was too late. And I was like, man, you know what? Forget it. I'm just flipping right now. And I flipped Friday afternoon around lunchtime.
Man, how happy were the people around you in Alabama when you flipped?
Man, they was happy because my town is Auburn through and through. Not just
Mm,
Auburn, but this Bama base too. But not just Elba itself. Like one thing about Bama is that I knew, but I didn't know that a lot of the people from the state of Alabama, like they believe in Auburn and everything that Coach Freeze is doing, and they all knew that I was Coach Freeze's number one target ever since he got here. So when I flipped to Auburn, I felt like that boosted every not the 24 class. Coach Freeze did an amazing job with them and brought in some dudes, but I feel like when I committed to Penn State, it kind of let some of the Auburn people down. Them seeing me flip back to Auburn, boosted the confidence way up, letting them know like I was serious, and now as you can see on Twitter, I'm serious about bringing in the best dudes in this class.
man, talk to me about the atmosphere at Big Cat Weekend. It looked like it was electric down there. What was the
Yeah.
vibe like?
So honestly, me going into Big Cat, I knew it was gonna be a lot of recruits, but I didn't know who was all coming.
Mhm.
And I was hearing rumors, days before that this dude may commit. I seen all the predictions and stuff, but me personally, like I talk to recruits and I see how they feeling. I never talk to them about, I may text them every now and then and be like, come to Auburn, but the main thing I ask them is why not Auburn? And like I said in the interview before, they never can give me a reason on why not Auburn. So then, that let me know right there that they should be an Auburn player. But at Big Cat, I kind of knew a lot of the dudes was flipping, but it was a crazy weekend because as you can see, the recruiting rankings went up and down for the 26 and the 25 class, and not just that, but you know, just being around some of the dudes that I'll be potentially going to college with in December meant a lot, because this really our last time all seeing each other. I know a few of us will go to a game day visits, but that was our last time being with each other until, December or this time next year. And it was just being around family. You know how it is when you're around family. It was just a, great all around weekend.
Were you surprised by anything that happened at Big Cat?
Really and truly, I wouldn't say yes. I wouldn't say no. The main thing I was surprised at seeing was one thing that did catch my eye was because I didn't know this either, but Coach Freeze pulled up the top 10 players in the state of Alabama.
Mhm.
And it was only two players that wasn't committed to Auburn, which was Naeem and Antonio Coleman. Well, both of them was both at Big Cat this weekend. And you seen it, Antonio, he flipped the like late Saturday night. He flipped. So the only person that left on the table was Naeem. And, I had some conversation with Naeem because we trained with the same trainer and, I wanted to see where his mind was. And, I felt like after having a conversation with him, you never know where things go, but I feel pretty confident in him, and especially with Antonio. So one thing that really surprised me the whole weekend was if you go and look at the top 15 players in the state of Alabama, Coach Freeze have 10 of them dudes committed or nine committed.
What does it mean for you to be part of the class that has the potential to kind of help shift some of the power back to Auburn in the state of Alabama?
So really and truly, that's been a big thing this whole recruiting cycle ever since Coach Freeze took the job. Cause he wanted to have a top five class in the 24 class, but he had a top eight. And in our class for sure, it was a staple to be, top eight. But me, I told him I was like, Coach, I feel like we can do top five. Like in recent years, if somebody would have asked me 2 or 3 years ago, man, you gonna go to Auburn, I'd be like, nah, I'm not going to Auburn because I don't like Auburn. But now, like as you asked me, staying an hour away from home and being able to play in like one of the best places in the state of Alabama, and not just that, but being able to bring in the best dudes from the state, it mean a lot. And it takes fans to be able to be successful as well. Like you can bring in the best recruits, best coaching staff, but your fans have to be engaged. And I feel
Mm.
like with the 24 class, the fans were real rowdy about that. But stacking two top 10 classes back to back, that's gonna bring something to Auburn that's I don't feel like has been done in years. And with us having, if we remain top five, which I think would be top three, if we remain top five, man, it's gonna be crazy around there. And that'll help us same way as it did with the 25. Because a lot of the dudes that's committed to Auburn now, before Coach Freeze got there, I'm sure none of us was really considering Auburn. But with us having these back-to-back top classes, I feel like, 26 class, that's going to make all the dudes in the state of Alabama be like, why not Auburn? And then 27. And I feel like it's going to set a trend to where, Auburn is going to start being successful and, being back to where they used to be at.
All right. This is a big year for you.
Yes,
Every
sir.
year since you've been in 8th grade, you've really been ripping.
Yes,
What
sir.
do you want to do this year that you haven't done before on the football field at Elba?
So my main thing this season, I sit down, I talk with my uncles. We talk every day. We talk every day during the summer. And obviously, I play August 23rd. So I was actually talking to my uncle last night, about how the season should go. And my main thing this season is really like, I know I broke a lot of state records last year, but obviously I want like Mr. Football, Alabama Gatorade Player of the Year, Max Pro Player of the Year, all of those accolades. But the thing I'm chasing this year, like through and through, is all of the national records. Like I want to break their Henry record. Like my uncle, literally, he got a thing on the phone where he got it broken up to where I'm like the touchdown leader nationally, the rushing yard leader, all of that. And I just feel like this year gonna be the year that I'll do that because, like I think he told me yesterday, or was the day before, if I have another season like I did my sophomore year, then I'm set to break all of the records, and I have it right here. Like, most 100-yard games, most touchdowns, most rushing yards, most rushing touchdowns, and most points. I feel like this year it's gonna take my team to do it with me, which I have faith in them, because I got a lot of the returners that played with me last year. But this year I'm really chasing more national accolades and national records than I did last season.
What do you say to the haters that say Alvin Henderson is only balling because he plays in small classification football?
Yeah, that's another thing me and my uncle talked about too. He kind of broke it down to me in another type of way. Like, one thing I look at, and I never really looked at it this way because I don't really be, going back and forth for everybody. But one way I looked at it is, I think he was like, it's 73 running backs in 1A. And if it was easy, everybody in every running back in 1A would be doing the same thing I'm doing. And, if you go look at the stats from the last few years, and we only been in 1A 2 years, even the teams that have played 15 games in one state back to back, they stats are nowhere close to mine. So like he told me, he was like, you can't really worry about what everybody say because if you try to do that, then you'll burn yourself to death. But that's when he told me that. He was like, that is making sense because a lot of people tell me that, man, you do play in 1A, it's easy. But if it's so easy, I would want the dudes from Leroy to be doing it that we play, Sweetwater to be doing it from we play, So that just give me the extra chip on my shoulder when I go out Friday night and ball.
Hey man, one time I was playing basketball. I was actually playing basketball and we playing against some of the Auburn University basketball team, right? We
Yes,
playing
yes,
pickup
sir.
basketball. And we had been winning. We beating guys who I had a good team of guys play high school ball. And the point guard for Auburn's team at the time, Ian Young, came in and he grabbed all his guys. He said, man, show them the difference. I never forgot that. They beat us 12-0.
For
And
real.
so I think that, yeah,
Yes,
man. So
sir.
that's important. I want to give you that. Bro,
Yes,
show
sir.
them the difference. Like,
Yes,
I
sir.
don't have no dog in the fight, but just from you as a young man, when people say that, my
Yes, sir.
thing to you, bro, show them the difference. Like, show them the difference. Like, why is Alvin Henderson special? Every Friday night, you go out there and show them, big dog.
Yes, sir. I got you.
For sure, man. Hey, Alvin, it's always a pleasure when you come on. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
You can find me on Instagram __ dot deuce two. You can find me on Twitter at Al Henderson _1, and then you can find me on TikTok Al Hendo _1, and
For
Snapchat
sure.
Hendo dash two.
Yes, sir. Hendo, see you soon, big dog. We're going to talk again for the season.
Yes, I'll talk to you later.